This is Ros Jones, your business coach with my weekly podcast show, Bold Business Bits, coming to you from Yorkshire. This is where I have a great conversation with a phenomenal female business boss. We share some of the bold stuff they do, lessons they've learnt, adversities they've overcome, and the fun they have. And then I'll be dipping into my toolkit and sharing a top tip. Business can be lonely, so make sure you join us each week and be part of our show. Well, hello and welcome to episode 35 of Bold Business Bits podcast show. This is Ros Jones, and in this episode I'm joined by my guest, Business Personality of the Year 2018, Michelle Mook, founder of Pro Development. It was a real delight to speak with Michelle. She's always fun. She can't help laughing. She's interested in people. In our conversation, she talks about how her life changed when, in a moment of brilliant clarity, she realised that her personal values were not those of the big corporates she worked with. Since that moment, and with that clear sense of purpose, Michelle went on to set up her business to make a difference for people in other businesses, and since then has overcome some tough challenges and celebrated some great successes. Listen on and hear Michelle's story. Hi, Michelle.
Hi there.
Thank you so much for coming on to the show today. So here we are, Michelle. It's a beautiful day. It's the first time I've been to your office, and what a fantastic venue you have here, your office and training room here at Forest Farm. So you've only been here a short time. How did you get to be here today?
So the training room that we're sitting in, we've only had for a couple of months, so that's very new, but we've actually been at Forest Farm now for 4 years, actually. That's scary how quick that goes. And as all great businesses start off, we started off in the back of the garage at my house in Wilberforce, and that was back in 2011. So, yeah, it's been a real journey to getting here, but very exciting.
Very exciting. So, a perfect time for the new year as well, new start, new year. So, before 11 years ago, did you say?
2011,
okay.
yeah.
So, how did you get to be in your garage in Wilberforce?
Yeah, so I was, I've always worked in learning and development and done employee engagement and team building and team development, and then found myself probably about 10 years ago now working for a big global company, and had been doing some work on my values actually through some coaching I was doing, and had a huge epiphany. And
your personal values?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was doing a coaching qualification at the time, and as part of doing that, had a coach to work with, and that was an incredible experience for me. And as part of that, he did some work with me on my values, the things that matter to me. And I just had that huge epiphany and realization of why I was not really enjoying working for a big global company. Right. So that was enough to stem me to then set up Pro Development. So I left that big company, a big global company and a big salary, and set up with absolutely nothing.
Wow. So what was the motivation? What inspired you to do that? Is it, what gave you the courage, if you like?
I think that's a really interesting question. What gave me the courage? I think the values work definitely was a defining moment for me, because one of the big values that kept coming up time and time again was making a difference. And that's when I had that huge realization that I was not making a difference where I was. So that kind of helped me to really explore, well, what did I want to do then? Where was I going to make a difference? And realize that actually if I could do something locally with local companies and smaller companies, so not the big globals, but smaller, what I would say real businesses, that actually that's where I would make the biggest difference. So a bit of a wing and a prayer and a kind of a dream and I'll just do it. I had some challenges on the way, but it was the best thing I ever did.
Yeah, fantastic. For you, what's been the best thing about, of course, you're now living your values, which is so important to all of us, but and you're making a difference, but what is it that makes you jump out of bed every morning? Is it still that, or is it...
Yeah. I mean, the values, I think for me, the values of the sort of became very integral then to everything we did. So having worked on my values, once I set up Pro Development, I decided those values would align to the business as well. So they became a part of the business. I then started to share them when I went out networking and meeting people. And interestingly, it's when you start to share your values, it's then interesting what you attract back in.
Yeah.
So the more I kind of put my values out there, the more I attracted those kind of people in, including an amazing team. So I had a very strong vision when I set up the business. I knew I didn't want to do it on my own.
Yeah.
So I always knew I was going to build a team, and I've now got a team of 6 people, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And that's what gets me up every day, is knowing that I get to work every day with people I really love working with, with clients that we love working with, doing the work I love doing. And that's it for me in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And I often kind of pinch myself, feeling really lucky that I'm getting to do all of that.
Yeah, fantastic. What's been the biggest challenge for you along the way?
Plenty.
Yeah.
Plenty. Probably right at the outset, actually, one of the biggest challenges for me was at the time when I was doing the work on my values. My husband at the time absolutely didn't want me to set up the business. He didn't want me to leave this job. I was probably the kind of main wage earner, and it was a really big problem. But I knew if I didn't do it, I would always regret it. But making that choice, and I think living my values, probably for the first time in my life, I always say we do loads of leadership development, and I talk all the time about how that's probably the first time I really stepped into leadership, because I made some choices for myself that I knew were important, but it cost me my marriage, which was really challenging at the time. So I'd found myself 6 months into setting up a new business with no income and no husband either, and 2 children. So that was a huge challenge. But I always say, I think my business saved me, because I kind of had that, if I don't make this work, I'm doomed. So I'm going to have to get on with it. And so really worked incredibly hard. And so overcame that, and kind of went on to find that I was actually very, very happy as well doing that, and kind of living that life that I really wanted. Kind of then I think the next probably really big hurdle was probably about 2 years into the business. We'd grown really quickly. Sue had joined me. We were getting lots and lots of work, which was fantastic. But we were stuck as well in that place where we were both busy delivering. We'd stop, and then it'd be like that kind of like, what's the next piece of work? And we hear that all the time, don't we, in small businesses. And so realising the only way we were going to break that cycle was to kind of grow. But that growth came with, we had to get an office because we were going to have to take on people. So suddenly we'd gone from this kind of what I would say a bit of a lifestyle business, really, in the back of the garage with no overheads, to suddenly a big office and employees. So pretty much within 2 months, our overheads had tripled. And that was hugely challenging. I think, no matter how much you think you've planned for and thought about how you're going to get that growth, it was tough. We had a tough year following that, but stuck to it, and it's come through. And we found since then that's become easier and easier. You just kind of growing the team, then our overheads haven't massively increased. So that's been a good thing.
What does pro development look like in the end?
That's a really good question. We talk about it sometimes in the office. I think at the moment for us, we've got a plan, a 5-year plan. We want to keep growing. We always say we don't want to take over the world, just Yorkshire. So we're just trying to really, we've got a very clear vision that we want to stay locally. Yorkshire and the Humber is our area. We don't go beyond that. And I really love that, again, working with local companies. So just for us, our sort of vision is really helping people to create great places to work in Yorkshire, and really helping Yorkshire to become a place where people see it as an area that has great businesses. Just keeping growing the team more and more, bringing in, newer people. One of the things that we really want to do is start growing some of our own talent as well. So we've probably been in a position where we've had to bring in experienced people, whereas we're really keen now to start looking at finding opportunities to bring in some younger people and start to develop them for the future as well. My son's just started working with us, which has been really interesting. Another challenge.
Yes, absolutely.
But really, really great. So just keeping growing. I don't really know if I've got an exact end game, but for now, that's a great place for us to be.
Yeah, fantastic. So you've talked about some challenges. What about some of the really good highlights of being, the best times for you, the proudest moments of being in business since that time when your husband walked out?
Yeah. So I think it's funny, isn't it? How sometimes it's the little things. I think the first time I ever got a paycheck from a client probably was a really big. I can still remember that. I think when Sue joined me a year in, that felt like a huge thing because I'd worked really hard in that first year to get enough work for the both of us. So she could join me. I think getting the office keys. The day that we moved into the offices here, that felt like suddenly we felt very grown up. But a really, really exciting time. I think probably a really big highlight was winning the Business Personality of the Year award that I won in 2018. My team put me forward for the York Press Awards and I won the award, which was really, I mean, just to be shortlisted for me was incredible. But to win was something else. And then this year, they actually asked me to go and be the after dinner speaker, which was really scary. But again, felt, another really kind of a big, so lots and lots of successes. But I think probably the thing that keeps us going is the successes we're having with our clients and just seeing them grow and develop and their people kind of, you can feel it when you walk into the businesses that it feels differently because of the work that they're doing to engage and develop the people. So that's probably the kind of successes that we get that we really love that keep getting us up in the morning.
Yeah, it's so good. Somebody this morning was talking to me about women in business. So have you experienced any particular challenges, would you say, as a woman in business compared with how you were, working in corporate for your, what's been your experience, or have you never really consciously thought, oh, it's because I'm a woman, or this is difficult because I'm a, what do you feel?
Yeah, no, I haven't actually. It's funny because I often, I read a lot about women in leadership roles. We do leadership development for men and women. So we've just won some funding, which is to help develop women in leadership. So it clearly is still, and I know from reading things, it's still a really an issue for many people, but it isn't something I genuinely feel like I have struggled with or been particularly conscious about. We work with all sorts of different organisations, all sorts of different business leaders, men and women. I don't feel like being a woman has got in my way.
No.
Sometimes, possibly, I think it's even been an advantage. I think, my view, certainly of the women I've worked with, is women make incredible leaders.
Yeah.
They have that ability to kind of tap into that emotional side and show vulnerability, which we know is what makes really authentic, inspiring leaders. So I think for me, sort of my journey probably to setting up the business and doing that work on my values, I feel like probably in the last 9 years since I've had the business, I've probably been the most authentic I've ever been in my life. And I know that is what inspires other people. So I think I'd just be me and get on with that really and not worry too much about, male, female, just, helping businesses.
As a human being.
Yeah, absolutely,
I agree, actually. It's interesting, isn't it? It's like they say what you focus on, you get more of, or what you focus on, you see more of around you. So maybe that's what some people do, focus more on that. I don't know.
Yeah, possibly. I think because it's not something in my consciousness at all. No. I just go to meet people. But I always say every time I meet somebody new, for me, that's just exciting. I love meeting new people. So I think that's kind of what my focus is always on is kind of, we talk a lot about it when we're networking. A lot of people struggle with networking. And I always say I love networking because for me, it's just an opportunity to go and meet lots of new people and interesting people and interesting businesses. So I think maybe it is a little bit around kind of where your head is.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think about it anyway. So.
And your personality type as well, I guess.
Yeah, possibly.
Some people love people. Some people don't.
Yeah, no, definitely love people.
Well, networking is not for everybody, is it? But if you find that it does and it works, why wouldn't you just carry on doing it?
Yeah, absolutely.
We like to have a lot of fun in our business, and I know that you do. What's been the most if you're willing to share this, you don't have to name names, but what's been the most hilarious experience? Because I know that sometimes you do these outdoor things as well, don't you? So, have you had some sort of hilarious experiences and lots of fun with any of your clients? And that's putting you on the spot there.
Yeah, well, we'd all the time, and I think it's one of the interestingly, fun is one of our values. So again, one of the things that when I did the work on the coaching, what that came through was playfulness is really important to me. So we actually had that as fun in the business. So it's one of our core values. We share it with all of our prospective clients. I often say, if fun is not something that's for you, then we might not be the best people to work with, because we love to have fun in everything we're doing. You know, and we laugh, we proper belly laugh at lots of different things. I think the experiential learning that we do probably helps to surface some of those hilarious moments, because we've had so many different things that have happened. I don't even know if I could name one particular one. There's so many different things that happen.
It's always fun.
Yeah, one of the kind of long-standing jokes is always, whenever we go and do any outdoor stuff, how many times will Michelle fall over? Because that tends to be my thing wherever we are. I remember one sliding pretty much from the top of a hill down to the bottom, on my bottom. I laugh a lot at myself, which I think is probably helpful.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think life's so short. We've always had that thought, just, enjoy the moments and have fun. And we know that's when people do their best learning anyway, is when they're having fun. And it's those memories, isn't it, that stick in people's minds as well. Yeah. So, yeah.
Brilliant. And if I'm here, I'm a woman or even just a person, just thinking about starting my own business, Michelle, what number one piece of advice would you give me?
Gosh, just one? Blimey.
Well, maybe you've got a couple, but the top tip.
It's interesting. One of the things I can remember having a conversation with my husband about at the time when I first set up the business is I went and did loads of networking. And I remember him saying to me, you're never going to win business just going out and talking to people.
Right, okay.
And he just didn't get networking at all. And interestingly, when I got my award 8 years later, when I went up to get the award, the guy who presented the award to me said, I've done this for many years. I've never seen anybody get a standing ovation before. Why do you think that is? So, of course, I completely just did that usual, I don't know. But reflecting on it, it was the networking, because I'd gone out and met so many people. Yeah. Some of those people have become clients, but many of them have become friends, have become strategic partners, people that we work alongside, people who I refer work to through our business, people who we buy stuff from, just a really great network of people. And I think that would be probably one of my biggest tips is surround yourself with really amazing people. And there's plenty of amazing people out there, particularly in Yorkshire, I find, which is where I'm doing all my networking. Just surround yourself with great people, positive people, and be giving, help people, because they'll help you as well. And I've certainly found that, that what's really nice now is I'm so far into my business journey. It's nice to be able to help other people who've started theirs as well. So make time for people. I think it's probably one of my biggest tips. And I think that kind of then is the same within your own business. Surround yourself with great people, employ great people, find people who align to your values, who will support you. But I think there's a saying, isn't there, always get people that are better than you. And I think absolutely, find really great people. Then that's when you get to work with people you love working with every day, and clients as well.
Sound advice indeed. Surround yourself with amazing people. Well, thank you, Michelle. It's been fabulous to speak with you today. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Roz.
In our conversation, Michelle spoke about the importance and impact for her of business networking. Business networking is just one of hundreds of activities available to us for growing our business, whether that's finding suppliers for your business, paying customers, referral partners, or just people to share challenges and successes with. Basically, though, it's a way of connecting with new people. And even in business-to-business enterprises, we're all dealing with people. There are all types of business networking events, referral groups, coffee and chat groups, social events, training events, special interest groups, and so on. They can be held at different times of the day, early morning, before the day starts, lunchtime, evening, mid-afternoon, and so on. Business networking is not for everybody. If you're reserved and a bit shy and don't like speaking to new people, you either won't want to do this, or it is possible to learn how to enjoy doing it. So there's loads of information out there and people will help you be great at networking. But I do a lot of networking myself, and I've learnt a few really key things, I think, that I just want to share with you today as my top tip. So here's my personal top tips for making the most out of business networking. I think, firstly, it's really important to choose the events that work best for you. So think about the people that you want to meet and where they're going to hang out. Where's the best location? Do you want to travel? Do you want it to be on your doorstep? How far are you prepared to travel? Also, the time of day that works best for you. If you've got kids you need to pack off to school, then an early morning one might not be right for you if you can't find somebody else to do the school run for you. Can you take some time out of your day at lunchtime to go to these? So think about what works best for you. If you're a woman, you might want a woman-only event, and there's loads of those around. Also, bearing in mind the type of group, are you prepared to find referrals for people for each meeting? So some networking events insist that you find referrals. Can you do that? Or are you looking more for a learning environment, or even more of an arm around the shoulder kind of event? So think about what actually you want to get out of the event first, and that will help you decide which ones to go to. Normally you can test out different groups and go there and see if it feels right for you. But sometimes if it's not right the first time, it takes a couple of times before you can actually decide whether that event's right for you. And my second point really is to be curious and interested about other people. It's easy to put labels on people by the way they dress, their name, the way they shake your hand, the kind of business they're in. So be prepared to look beyond the label of what a person actually does for a living and ask great questions. Just be interested. This does come with practice, I found. Maybe you can help that person. Maybe you share the same place of birth or the same interests. Maybe they can help you. Once you get speaking with people and asking those questions, all sorts of things can come out. It's amazing. I always find that the really deep connections you can make with people. And number 3 is be more interested in collecting their contact details than actually giving out yours. So if you've forgotten your business cards, it doesn't really matter as long as you collect theirs, because you can follow up later. But if time's limited, so if you go to a networking event and it's an hour long, you want to make the most of your time there. And rather than just stand speaking with your friends or with just one person, take their contact details and move around the room. Meet as many people as you can. Arrange to meet people outside of the event to get to know them more. So, rather than spending the whole hour with one person, have a chat. If you think you might be interested in finding out more about them, which you probably will do, then just arrange to meet them outside. But don't be pushy, because people don't like being sold to unless they ask you first. So, just make it a conversation, an interested conversation, to see how you can help them. Number 4 is always follow up with people that you meet, either through a phone call, an email, connecting on social media, or even, and I love this one, a handwritten note through the post. And then finally, as Michelle said in our conversation, be authentically you. Just be yourself, smile and have fun. So there's my personal top tips for networking. Hope they're useful for you and that you've enjoyed our show today. This is Ros Jones saying bye for now. Remember to subscribe to the show and share the love. This has been your Ros Jones Bold Business Bits podcast show. If you'd like any further information about anything we've discussed today, please just get in touch. Go to businesscoachingyorkshire.co.uk. Please join me again next week when I'll be speaking with another phenomenal female business boss with bold business bits. And remember to subscribe to my show. Thanks for listening.